go to Shape Tool and select Ellipse. To create a circle, press Shift as you click and drag. And now let's give this oxygen a nice red color. I'm going to copy the color code because I want to use a similar tone for the outline. Click OK, and now go to the stroke and paste this color code. And that way I can select a darker version of this color. Click OK and make the outline a little bit thicker. And now let's create a nice shiny effect for this sphere. I'm going to copy and paste in place. To paste in place, press Shift as you press Ctrl V. And that way, if I was here and I just pasted, the circle would be somewhere else. But if I press Shift, then it will be pasted in the same place that it was copied from. Okay, let's go back to our circle. I have 2 copies, yes. Let's right click, transform, and scale. Something like 80% I think works. Let's do even maybe 75. Okay, click OK. And I'm going to use this line to create the shiny effect. Let's get rid of the fill because we don't need it. And select a lighter version of this color for the shine. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And press A or select this white arrow tool to click and delete these 2 points. Now select the round cap ends for this line, and with the pen tool create 3 new points around here. Now with the white arrow tool again, select the point in the middle and delete it. And with that, we have a nice shiny effect for our sphere. And now I'm going to create a shadow for it. Again, I'm going to copy and paste in place, and I'll delete the outline because we don't need it. And for the shade, I'm going to use a sort of purplish gray, a very light one. And here in the transparency panel, I'm going to switch its mode to multiply. And now we have this kind of darker effect that will act as a shadow. But we can see that there's a little bit of a problem here because this is the end of our shadow and it's also the border of our circle, but we can see that the outline is outside of the shadow. We want to avoid this. So to solve it, we can go here to our layers panel. If this is collapsed, you can expand it by pressing on the little arrow. We can select our original red ellipse, and here in the stroke panel, click this option, align stroke to inside. That way the stroke of our circle will be inside and therefore also inside the shadow. If any of these panels don't appear in your Illustrator window, you can also go here to Window and look for the layers or stroke panels to activate them. Let's finish setting up the shadow. So we have this one. Now let's create a copy by pressing Alt, clicking and dragging. By doing this, we're simply duplicating the original purple circle and creating another one that is on top. And now let's select the 2 of them by clicking on each other while pressing Shift. Let's go here to the Pathfinder tool and select this option, minus front. That way the circle at the top will be subtracted from the one at the bottom. And there we have it. There is the shadow for our atom. I feel like these need to be a little bit thicker. And now we have our first atom. Let's select everything, right click and group it. And now we can move it around without having to select everything at the same time because it's in one group. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller for some space. And now that I have this one created, I can press Alt, click and drag, and simply make a copy of it to create the hydrogen atoms. Now I can change the color of this circle to make it look like a hydrogen, Because it's a group, if I click on it with the move tool, the black arrow, I'll select everything and I won't be able to edit individual parts. I want to select the other tool, the white arrow, and that way I can click on individual elements within the group. I'll click on the red circle first and select a very light gray for the atom and a darker gray for the outline. And because the atom is a very light gray, I'm going to make these white. If you want, you can also modify the shadow if you feel like this one is too dark. You can give it a lighter purple. And because the shape is still set to multiply mode, it will still darken whatever color is below it. Now, as this is a group, we can click on it with the move tool and move it around without having to worry about individual parts. I want to duplicate it to create the other hydrogen atom. So I'm going to click on it, press Alt, click and drag. And while I'm dragging, I'm going to press Shift to move it in a straight line. Otherwise it would move around and it wouldn't be at the same level. I'm going to put it here. And now I want this atom to be behind the oxygen one. So I'm going to select it, right click on it, press Arrange, Send to Back. And once I have everything, I can select it, right click and group. And here we have our water molecule. Since it's all in a group, it's very easy to move around and create copies of it by using Alt and maybe creating an interesting layout with them. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it and you found it useful. And if you have any questions, feel free to post in the comments. And if you like this video, of course, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.